Hey everyone, this is Pharaoh Silver, the Pharaoh of Beer Money Finance, and we got an Atlas Earth update video. It has been a good while. It's been a couple months since anything groundbreaking has changed in the world of Atlas Earth. And normally I would I wouldn't really talk too much about these updates, but this one is kind of big because it involves mini games. A lot of people are very interested in updates that involve their Atlas bucks, and this one in particular with the minigames. As you all know, it used to cost 2 Atlas bucks for minigames, but now it is going to be replaced with a 5-second ad. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about this very briefly for a few minutes. So what's happening is that starting Sunday, which is, I'm going to go to my events tab here, the bowling event. So starting the bowling event on Sunday, you will be able to do your Atlas Earth minigames for free. In place of the 2 Atlas bucks, you will just be watching a skippable 5-second ad. And I personally think that this idea is pretty good, but I'm throwing a little bit of caution to that. Let me explain. So the pros for this, in my opinion, is it's going to definitely be more accessible to risk-averse players, because there are a lot of players who have complained about having to spend 20, 30, 40 Atlas bucks and just not quite making the top 500 so that they can get profit, and that's going to make things a little bit difficult. However, on the other end, we're still not sure about the fate of mulligans yet, and I don't think they mentioned too much about mulligans. I'll put an update in the pinned comment somewhere, put a pinned comment or something when I get an update regarding that. There will be far more in-game participation, though, as a result of this. Again, the risk-averse players coming in, because they don't have to worry about losing Atlas bucks now. They only have to worry about just watching more ads. It should be a piece of cake. However, I think now minigames are going to be a little bit more dependent on 5-second ads being easy to close out, or if you get longer ads. Like, for example, Cashwalk Lucky Boxes are supposed to be 5-second ads, but a lot of the time I end up getting a 15 or 30-second ad. So is it going to be heavily restricted to making sure that it's a 5-second skippable ad, or what? So that's something that you have to put into consideration. And while it's probably not going to matter for the lower tiers, for those that are in the top 25, 50 that are making the serious Atlas bucks, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to try to, maintain being on podium or maintain being in the top 25, especially in the United States, where it is very highly competitive. Also, the increase in player participation is going to be a double-edged sword, in my opinion, because it could cause some game server issues. We've talked about how we've had lots of delays with minigames in the past. If you've heard me complain in live streams, I guess we're going to see what happens on that one. Finally, I'm starting to get a little worried that Atlas Earth is using the ad services too much, and I normally wouldn't care all that much. However, I remember that one of the reasons why they pushed back from a 1-minute cap to a 20-minute cap was because I believe the ad providers at the time were not giving them that much after like the 30th or 40th ad that you were watching. So knowing that, are they really going to get that much more money off of these ad services? That's another thing I'm wondering about, is this going to be a long-term solution going forward? Or is there something that, maybe it's the way that they made how frequent that you have them in? Because at the time, like with these minigames, it's only 3 times a week. Whereas with the 1-minute ad cap that we had at the beginning of Atlas Earth's lifespan, that was constantly every single day. But overall, what do I think is going to happen? Is this a buff? Is this a nerf? I think it's probably like a light buff. I think the benefits are going to outweigh the deficits by a little bit. Now I know COO Manning is very, very hopeful about this and expects like a significant boost of about 25% into pots, like 25 to I think he said 25% anyway. Now, I know that the COO, Manning Field, has mentioned that he expects a significant pot increase. I think he mentioned something like 25% in the Discord. We'll see if it's a 25% increase. I'm thinking it's probably going to be more like anywhere between 5 to 10% of an increase. I do see an increase. I just don't think it's going to be that much of an increase because a lot of the veterans are going to be playing a lot less mini games. Which actually, considering how much I've had issues with mini games as of late, might not be the worst thing if you think about it. But okay, but as far as like getting the pots and stuff like that, is this a buff? Is this a nerf? I think it's going to be a slight buff. We'll see what happens though as we get to bowling and we see the results of bowling. I'll probably live stream it as well come Sunday. At least live stream like the first hour or so. We'll see. And then we'll see how it's like. And then I will, we'll find out the results then. I'm going to keep this video short and sweet because I do have another video coming up tomorrow. I just promised I would start being a little bit more attentive with these Atlas Earth updates. And even if it's a short one like this, and if it's just a one take, hey, I'm going to tell you guys about this update like this, that's basically what I'm going to do. I have a special announcement tomorrow as well that I want to talk about that is Atlas Earth related, just not involving Atlas Earth itself. That's the biggest hint I'm going to give up to this point, so be sure to check that out tomorrow. All my videos are going to be coming out at 5 p.m. Eastern, between the 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern hour, and that includes Saturdays now. Also, don't forget about my Patreon. For those of you that have been talking about wanting the Patreon to be a, $2.99 was a little bit steep for the lowest tier. Again, I mentioned that Patreon kept hassling me over, oh, don't make it less than $3, or make the lowest tier less than $3. But I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to make it $1.99 instead. So the lowest tier is going back to $1.99 as I originally had anticipated for Beer Money Mania. And, we'll see what happens with Patreon. I also want to say that I know that there was some confusion last time regarding opening up the Patreon. Even though I gave like a couple months advance notice for this, but you do not have to sign up for Patreon to enjoy what you're seeing here at the Beer Money Engine YouTube channel. This is only for those that are part of the community that want some extra, extra stuff that is community based. And no, there is no monetary advantage that you will get for signing up for the Patreon. It is solely just bonus footage. Well, it's the early footage for the $1.99 tier. Like you get videos out a day or two early, I should say. And then for the $7.99 tier, there's additional footage like behind the scenes stuff, which I'm going to start working on some behind the scenes stuff. As well as Beer Money Raw, which is our segment where we can actually go and talk about stuff without YouTube's guidelines. All right, so don't worry about the Patreon tier. You can still support us by liking, comment, subscribing to the channel, as well as, if you ever see a Beer Money app that you like and you want to try it out, I got a referral code as well. I got many referral codes that you can also support me on as well. This Patreon is simply for myself and AJ to kind of have our own little separate project where we can do stuff without YouTube's guidelines, basically tying us down. With that, like this video if you like it. Don't forget to comment as well on the minigames. And if you're going to be taking part in minigames, if you haven't done minigames before, are you going to take part in it now with it like this? And we'll probably have a little bit more detail as to the stats of how these minigames will be after my special announcement. Let's put it that way. Because it's going to be something that I think you all are going to enjoy. All right. And it's going to involve the future of the optimal strategy guide. Yeah, I'll throw that hint out there as well. All right. So, yep, just one take this one. Hope y'all enjoy this update. And don't forget to subscribe to Beer Money Engine. We are very close to 5,000 subscribers. I will see you all next time, everyone. Pharaoh Silver signing out. Bye, everybody.